Right, we are going to try something new for this stream today. We are going to attempt to do some painting while on camera because I have all sorts of new Warhammer figures that I want to get painted. So we're going to try this. I don't have a great painting studio set up, as you can obviously tell from my, makeshift setup here, but it's working kind of well. I'm using these new lights Emmy got me for my birthday. And I have an example. This is the first dude that I painted here. You can see the gunmetal on him is great. See different browns and greens. So that's what we're going to try and do. I painted this guy last night, and as you can see, he's kind of splotchy. So the painting did not go well. I painted him purple, brown, and red, and I really didn't like it. So I'm going to try and paint him black and yellow. He's got our Grim Black, and we are going to go with Zealot Yellow. And hopefully he's going to be kind of like, kind of bumblebee colored is kind of what I'm going for with this dude. And then green skin, and then grays and such on his weapons, or maybe even black on the blades, kind of like an obsidian look. I don't know. I've not tried black blades before. Maybe we should try the black on the blades as well to kind of see how that goes. So I stripped most of the paint off of him, and we're going to attempt to do it again today. Alright, so we're going to give him yellow boots, black pants, and yellow shirt, I think. So we'll start with the yellow. The yellow is, this paint is kind of strange. Like, it comes out looking more red than yellow, but when it dries it looks a little bit more yellow. So I'm just going to have to trust in the process here. Let's grab our tiny details brush and just kind of start. Like, that's going on, and it looks almost the same color. I don't see a whole lot of color in that. This might not work as well as we thought it was going to. Let me get that up. Like, I can see, so if we bring him up here, like, you can see I just put paint on that, but you can't really see a whole lot of yellow in that. And it might just be the green is too much. Maybe I need to paint his boots white first, or just do more layers of the yellow. We'll give it a chance. We'll let that kind of dry on there and see how well that works. But something is telling me that we're going to need a whole lot of paint to make that actually yellow. So it's possible I need some white, which is unfortunately one of the colors you would think I would have. I bought like a starter kit of colors, and they did not give me a white color at all. You think that white would be like one of the most popular colors, but apparently not. This is a very small brush. Let's see how well this does. I am not a great painter, so if you're coming here for painting tips, I do not have them, but we're trying. Alright, we got that shoe done on two sides now, and that yellow is still not cooperating, so something's telling me here we're going to need to do something else, because that's just not that's not working for those yellow boots like I wanted to do here. And maybe it's because it's green. I know there's like color theory. I do not have color theory at all, so that could be part of the problem too. But mixing the yellow over the green is not creating a yellow. Yellow and green makes some other color, so maybe that's part of the problem. Let's try and add just a little bit more. Alright, we added some more. Let's give that a second to dry and see what happens here as that dries. It looks a little bit more yellow on camera, so maybe when that dries, we'll give that a chance to dry, and we'll do some black on the pants while we're waiting for that to dry. So let's clean up the brush here a little bit. And we'll give it one more shake on the Grim Black. And we'll see. We'll probably do another coat of yellow on the bottom, but I really want to do black and yellow. I think it'd be kind of adorable to do like a bee color. This is my slasher, so I want him to kind of be like sting like a bee, sort of, is the vibe I'm going for. So I thought black and yellow would be kind of cute on him. Alright, the black should cover everything. Yeah, that's what I expected that to look like. That's much more what I was expecting. Let's adjust him just a little bit. Like, I don't know, I can kind of still see green though. It's possible I'm just not getting it thick enough here. Go up to there. His shirt's going to be a different color, so get all those crevices. This is the speed paint. And speed paint has like this really cool quality where it seeps into all the crevices and does like minor highlighting and shadowing and everything for you. So, excuse me. We'll lay it on thick and kind of let it do its job there. I'm also going to put a little bit on his blade here. I kind of want to see if I'm going to like that or not. So let's put some black on the blade and see if black blades is what we want to do. We had him silver before. Let's take a look at those black blades and see. You can still kind of see green through there, so we're going to have to let that one dry. But I think we are going to like this black a lot more. We're going to have to put it on a little thicker than I think we were originally going to do. Alright, now we got to be careful how we move this guy. Don't want to get paint all over. There we go. Got to get the back of his pants. I definitely think it tells you should put your figure together and then you should paint them, but it definitely seems like it would be easier to paint them before you put them together. I don't really know if I agree with that advice, because like there's so many little parts here, like that grenade's right above it here, and his boots weren't attached, so it seems like it would be easier to paint unassembled, but what do I know? Well, I touched the tip of that blade, but I luckily didn't get any paint on me. And gotta be careful around the hilt of that blade. We're just gonna put a little bit there on the knee. There we go. That's a nice black. Okay. It drips a lot too, which is unfortunate that it spills from one color to another. So that black's starting to bleed into those boots, and that's going to look awful. I'm probably going to end up having to strip this dude again. Alright, we got some... And there, now I got black on my finger. Put it right in the paint. You can see the black on my finger. Let's grab the spotlight. There goes my light, so you can see this better on camera. Yeah, you can see that looks just awful. I am not happy with this so far, but we're going to keep going and see if it's better once it dries. Gotta get my lights reset here so you can see the dudes. There we go. Alright. Looks like we might be able to get that next coat on the shoes. Let's see if that makes a difference. Put a little bit more on there and see how yellow that yellow actually gets. Excuse me. Moving on this shoe. I don't think I'm going to do the whole shoe because I don't think this is going to work, but we're going to put a little bit more on there just to see if it just takes more coats or if it's going to look better once it dries. These will just be the testers for it. Alright, clean up the brush. Dry it out. See, we were going to make his shirt yellow, but I'm just really not sure on that yellow at this point. Just not sure if that's what I want to do or not. Well, it's looking better on the blade. Let's get that blade back in focus. So that black is not settling on that blade all that well. The parts that are black definitely look black, but let's get some more black on there. Maybe I'm just not getting enough paint on there. I don't know, what do you guys think? You think the black blade, or you think it would look better as like a gunmetal steel? While we're here, we can do his pack. The pack is usually brown, but since he's supposed to be like my sneaky infiltrator, I want him to have a lot more black, so let's do black on the backpack as well. See, it soaks into all those crevices all by itself, which is really cool of the paint. Let's see, it's leaving a lot of green in there too, and I don't know if that's... Maybe I should try a different brush. Maybe this brush in black. Let me try a different brush just to see if that's part of the problem. Let's clean it up, give it a chance to dry up, and let's grab the slightly larger brush and see how it does. Not as well. I'm just gonna really have to see once this paint dries. His pants definitely look black. You can see that now that it's kind of a lighter black, but it definitely looks different once it dries. So we'll give this a real chance here. Make that a sneaky backpack, make it all black. Let's get a little bit more on that blade because it's dripping off again. There we go. Can see a little bit of yellow forming on those shoes. So this is slowly coming together. See a little bit of green. We're going to put just a little bit of black down here to cover up some of those patches of green. I'm really wondering what that blade's going to look like fully black. Because I just don't know if it's going to stay that black or if it's going to turn to like a blackish gray, because that's what we got going on his pants, is like a blackish gray. Let's try putting a little bit more on and see what happens there. Now we got to get the side of the figure. Very careful to not get paint all over ourselves. There we go. Let's get the pack. There we go. I also have a new Warhammer board game that just came today that I'm excited to crack open, share with you all. I'm going to do a little unboxing video with it. If you couldn't tell, I'm getting way, way, way into Warhammer, so we're just filling in all the cracks. I saw today Canon announced a new lens that is a 1 or 200 to 500 RF, and I really wanted to get it, but it's going to be $15,000 for a lens. Dexter's here. Good morning, Dexter. This is too much? The Warhammer costs too much, or just too much Warhammer content? Because I could agree with probably both of those statements. And his shirt's going to be yellow, so we're going to give those backpack straps just a little bit of black. Very careful on those. It's so small. Oh man, this one is pretty small. This isn't even my smallest figure though. I wanted to try streaming on my phone. So this is just like directly from my phone. If I was using my actual camera, I could zoom in a little bit better, but I wanted to see how well this would work. It's really hard, I'm learning to paint on camera, because you want to point your camera directly at what you're painting. That makes sense. But then your camera's in the way of what you're painting, so you've kind of got a problem where the camera's got to be a little bit off to the side, but then you don't want to get in the shot, so it's going to take a little bit more to be able to paint on camera, I think, but I'm really enjoying it. And unfortunately, Twitch doesn't appear to let me zoom in the camera. If I could zoom into like a 3 times, you would be able to see the details of this figure a lot better, but it's just letting me use the base camera, unfortunately, so I might have to try and figure out how to do this a different way, but we're just experimenting right now. What do you think of that black blade, Dexter? I've been so debating, should his blade be black, like an obsidian blade? Because I'm going black and yellow theme for him so that he'll be like a bumblebee. But also, like, I've got this metallic silver that looks really nice for, like, metal parts. And, like, this gun, you can see, like, the silver. The silver looks great. I love the silver. Let me grab a light, so you can see this guy all the way. Like, I love how my painting turned out on this guy. You can see like little details of silver on his metal boots, and I really do love that silver a whole lot. So I'm debating whether or not the blades should be silver, because that's how they usually should be, but I also like the idea of the black blades for the sneaky guy. I like it, but maybe weathered with silver on top. So I was debating some silver topping or putting some like red on the tips to give it like the effect of blood. So I am going to detail it a little bit more when we get to that stage. Right now I'm just trying to get the base colorings done here. And it does not look like the black is holding on to this blade very well. We've done like 3 coats and it is not liking that blade. So we might not be able to even pull that off. Oh, my light. We're trying to get yellow boots, black pants, and then a yellow shirt and make him Bumblebee, kind of, sort of, but I don't know, the yellow's not cooperating and the black is partially cooperating. So, let me gotta put down the paintbrush. Let's grab the light. There we go. So we can see, maybe, come here. There we go. Swaddle's here. Welcome in, Swaddle. You can see a tinge of yellow on the boots, but the yellow on the boots is really not shining through like it would. But the pants, the black on the pants doesn't look terrible. 10 out of 10 would watch this again. I do want to do more painting stuff, so I am enjoying this. It's just finding a setup that works and finding paint that works. Like, look at that boot. Look at how horrible, if my camera will focus. There we go. Look how terrible that boot looks. That does not look yellow at all. That is not working like it should. The black on the backpack is starting to dry, though, and that's looking good. So the black is working. The yellow really is not. And I'm wondering if it is because I used a green base for this dude. If just yellow and green do not mix together. Do I have a magnifier? I do not have a magnifier yet. I was talking to Emmy, and Emmy highly recommended an aught light for better lighting and potentially a magnifier so I can really get in there and see the details. I do have a paint stand coming to make these guys stand better on, like, make it easier to manipulate them and hold them up for the camera and all that, but I can only spend so much on Warhammer each month, right? I can't go too deep into the Warhammer. I gotta be good. Loud T-Rex is here. Go play around, have fun painting, playing with those figures, whatever you get to do with them. Thanks for hanging out, Loud T-Rex. Oh, I messed this up really bad. I got way too much paint on there, and now it's spilling out everywhere. Thanks for dropping by. Alright, so we like the black. We're not sure on the yellow. So what... I mean, every color goes with black, right? So, like, black and green looks really good, but he's already a green unit. So I don't know that having, like, black and green together would be good. We've got the purple, but the purple is very... It says that it's, like, bright, but it's a really deep purple, so maybe not that. So what else goes good with black? I guess I could do, like, black and red. I could use the Slaughter red, or maybe black and blue? Beowulf blue? I don't know. I guess we could go all black and just do black and then accent him with green, but then I guess that would make sense if he's just completely black and then his skin's green, maybe? I don't know. I'm not digging the yellow on him. That blade's starting to look nice, so it's turning into like a grayish black on the blade. So the black is starting to look real nice on him. Give him a little bit of black on he's got a little satchel on his arm there, so we're gonna paint the satchel black. I think that's what we might have to just do pure all black, and he'll just be my he's my sneaky git. He's all about the stealth, so I'll paint this other part of the blade black as well. I'm liking the black on the blades, so we're gonna try that. Push him a little bit more into focus for the camera. We're at this stage where dressing my kid is like wrestling an alligator. Yeah, but like we were talking about yesterday, right? Like, as soon as it's gone, you're going to miss it, right? When your kid can dress himself, you know you're going to have those moments where you miss it and be like, I wish I could dress him just one more time, right? And like the saddest thing someone ever said, it was like one of those things people say on Reddit, you know, like one of those shower thoughts was, there comes a day where you put your kid down and that's it. That's like you put them down and you never pick them up again. That's the last time you ever hold your kid. And like that's so sad to think about. So you know, there are some downsides to growing up, right? I'm not gonna miss this. I've heard that putting shoes on toddlers is one of those things that makes you question like your own strength. Like it shouldn't be that hard, and yet it is. Alright, we'll paint the pommel very carefully so we're not getting his fingers. He pooped on my floor last night. He pooped on my floor. How does that happen? How does I'm guessing he's at that stage where he can take his diapers off? He's really good about shoes because he loves going places. I do really like that black on those blades, and the black on the strap looks really good too, so I think we're going to go all black for this guy. We're going to clean up those boots and then just go with the black. No, he pooped in his diaper, I cleaned him, and he just let me naked for a little bit. 10 minutes later, he pooped again on the floor. That's awful. I feel terrible about that, but at least you got a great story out of it, right? That's a great story and memory you'll always have no matter what. I was just laughing because I'm like, what do I do first? Alright, that's looking nice. Gotta run, family stuff. Alright, take it easy. We'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by while we're painting today. Alright, let's get this shirt, start painting the shirt black like we talked about. The unfortunate part now is he's going to be really hard to grab because he's going to be wet all over. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to pick him up and make him look at the camera so you can see any better. So either I'm going to need to start doing this with my other camera, or I'm going to have to get a magnifier for y'all because I'm not going to be able to pick him up without getting paint all over myself. I'm going to paint his belly. Look at that. This guy was the MVP. The last game that I played, he's my slasher boy. And in his final move, he took out an enemy leader and captured the enemy base, both of which gave me enough points to win the game. So he has my MVP title right now. And I was actually thinking what might be a lot of fun. So you can glue things to their bases. So usually people glue like foliage and stuff to their bases so that it looks like they're standing on terrain. But I was thinking about gluing skulls. Like every time I win a match, so every win they get a new skull on their base, so that as I play them more and more over time, they slowly become like more and more skulls, so that like my opponents can see that and be like, oh, I don't want to fight this guy. He's got like 30 wins on these dudes. So I thought that could be a really cool thing to detail on these dudes. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that one yet. Mostly because, like everything in Warhammer, it's too expensive, and a box of skulls is like, I think you get 15 skulls for $15 or $20, and so it would get very expensive to brag about my wins in that manner, you know? Like buying an army of these dudes, you get 12 dudes, and it's $40 to $50 just for them, not including the paint. So buying the paint, the dudes, and all that, you're looking at like closer to a $70, $80 investment. And then the foliage and everything else, like they get you so bad on the cost of all this sort of stuff. It becomes unbelievably expensive. My paint's drying. I gotta go a little bit faster before I lose all my black paint here. Let's try and fill in this satchel. But it's like an amazing transformation process. Like, when you get the dudes, they come on a little sheet like this. Like, they just come on these tiny little pieces of plastic. And you've got to cut like that little arm there. You've got to cut off that little arm and then glue a little hand and a little gun to it. Like, there's so much to that, and then it becomes one of these dudes when it's all together. So it's really cool to kind of watch them come all together. Alright, how did your shoes turn out? They're still wet, but pretty awful. I think we're going to scrap the yellow boots. I really don't like this yellow at all. Like, I put yellow, you can't even see it. That's part of the problem. The yellow is so light. If we can see this guy. So I put, his teeth are supposed to be yellow. I put yellow on his teeth, and like, you can't even see yellow on his teeth. Like, and I put a thick layer of yellow in there, and it just looks slightly less green. But this paint is so cool. It's like, you see how the green is different colors. Like, you see on his arm how there's like highlighting and how it gets into the crevices there, and the green isn't uniform across him. Like, that's what this does really well. You can see like his arm looks dirtier. You can see all sorts of really cool, like the yellow. I put the yellow in the arm too. I guess you could see just a little bit of it there. You can see just the faintness of yellow on his arm there. So I guess it does show up that you need quite a lot of it to be able to see it. So maybe we just need even more yellow, but I don't think it's going to work on those boots. I just, for whatever reason, it's too wet and not good enough. So we're going to lift him up carefully. We can see that black is really going great on him. You can still see a little bit. There's the purple. Like it looks black, but not next to the black. So we're changing out that purple to go pure black on this guy. And I think we're going to change, like, he's got little grenades on his pouch there, but I think we're going to make those black too, right? Like, if you're going full sneaky commando, then you're not going to have brightly colored stuff popping out, right? Logically, and I mean, we're in the Warhammer universe, so logic isn't necessarily the strongest staple here, but logically, you wouldn't do that. It's barely noticeable. The purple, yeah, I really don't like. I really didn't like the purple because originally, so the lore on these guys that I absolutely love. The reason I love orcs, so the orc lore is whatever they believe becomes true, and so like the purple, there's some sort of saying they have where like purple is the sneakiest color because you've never seen a purple orc. And so their logic is you don't ever see anything bright purple, therefore purple must be really hard to see or invisible to us. And so when they want something to be sneaky, they paint it purple because purple is sneaky. So I thought I would paint him purple to match kind of that thought process, but it just didn't. It didn't work out like I wanted it to. And thank goodness you can just strip the color off and start over, right? Like, that is one of the advantages of paint that is subject to isopropyl alcohol, is if you don't like it, you just say, you know what, we're starting over, and then you put a fresh coat on there, and off you go, right? So, I do like that. And they don't have to be purple, perfect, not purple, they don't have to be perfect, like, I know some people are super into painting their armies super perfectly, but, like, to me, that's part of the appeal of orcs, right? They're not perfect, they're dirty, they're grungy, so if different parts of them are off-colored or parts of that, like, that just adds to the character of the orc, in my opinion, so I'm not too upset if they're not absolutely perfect, which is kind of why I started with them, because the other army I want to paint in my channel colors, so I want them to be waffles. And that's going to be a lot harder to do, the waffle coloring and details. So I wanted to get better with this first. I can see a little bit of green showing through still there, so we're going to cover that up. There we go. And then I still got to paint him green. Like, I know he's green, but there's a better green I can use that'll give him a little bit more depth and color and all that. And unfortunately, the primer I put on him was a little thick. You can't see it well here, but his jaw's a little messed up because I had to go in there with like a toothpick and physically change his mouth because there was so much primer stuck in it. So we're going to take out some of that purple now and just make it black. How's it go? I see a red door and I want it painted black. That's kind of what we're going for here. Let's get that boot while we're here. We're gonna change the boots. We're gonna make the boots black. And the grenades. It's all going black. Technically, to be tournament legal, they have to be 3 different colors, so we can't just be black and green. We will have to put at least one accent color on there. Even though I don't plan on doing any tournament play right away, I'd like for them to be tournament legal And like you can play with an unpainted army, but you automatically lose points if you're playing with an unpainted army. And if you're paying money to enter a tournament, then you don't want to lose points over something that small and silly, right? So basically no one plays with an unpainted army because it puts you at such a disadvantage right off the bat. And I get why they do it, because they want like the tournament winners to promote that painted minifigs win because money. But I think it's also kind of lame that like you could win a match and legitimately be the best player but still lose because your stuff's not painted, right? Like Call of Duty does the same stuff where if you buy a skin, they'll put you in lobbies with people who are worse so that you feel like you're doing better, so that you'll associate like, oh, having a skin that I paid for in Call of Duty makes me a better player, thus I need to continue to buy skins to be a good player. Like, it's so terrible. And again, I understand businesses need to make money, but that sucks. And like I said, I couldn't imagine winning a tournament and then being told, well, technically you won, but your army wasn't painted, so we deducted points for an unpainted army. So even though you beat your opponent, we're going to take that win away from you. You know, that's kind of lame. And like those points matter. Like the match I won on Wednesday was 13-12. Like, it was a 1 point difference, and painting your army can be, I think, anywhere from 2 to 4 points. So, like, I would have won the match and then been told, sorry, your army's unpainted, so you actually lost the match. Come back when your army's painted after you spend money and time on it. But I do like painting them, so it all works out in the end, I guess. He does look better all black. We're gonna let that dry a little bit. I gotta get the underside of his blade. Let's see if we can turn him. I might be able to reach his blade from here. We gotta get the underside of that blade. It looks awful right now. There we go. That's better. Don't want to use up all my black today, though, because I do have more. I've only painted one guy fully. This is fully number 2. I still have 10 dudes to go, so hopefully my paint lasts. I'm trying to use very small batches of paint because I don't want to run out. I also don't want to spend my whole paycheck on paint. Alright, let's get the little dagger in his mouth. Paint that black just barely. There we go. Careful, we don't want to get his teeth and jaws and face and all that. That looks good. Alright, let's see where can I grab this guy without getting paint all over myself. Maybe just like that. Alright. Grab another light. And here is the boy in black. Look at how smooth that black looks on him. The shoes are still messed up a little bit. They're going to need another coat of black or two. That black looks real nice on him. And I'm actually digging it on the blades. Like, it gives it a dull gray. So I think I'm going to put, like Dexter suggested, I'm going to give him some, like, silver on some of the edges and then some red. Because I need to use another color anyways. So I think that will work. And like I wonder how noticeable does the other paint need to be, because like this guy's technically got like and I'll do this. I don't think it'll show up, but if we take the paint off this brush, he technically looks like he has an earring. So if I take this other brush and I paint just the faintest yellow gold on his earring, like right there, does that count as a third color? Because now he technically has three colors. He's green, yellow, gold, and black, but like, does that count? That's such a small amount. Like, you can't even see it on the camera because it's such a small dab of yellow. I wonder if that's going to count or if that's not going to count. I guess I need to ask someone. But now he's got a yellowy gold earring, so, you know. Not only is he a sneaky orc, but he's also a rich orc with an earring. Go back to this guy for reference. Like, the small details matter so much. Like, you can see his the studs in his hat are gray and glow under the light. I still need to detail, like, his gun is all gray here, but there's like a skull on there, so I want to make the skull like white or bone colored. You can see I need to bevel out like his guns, so there's actually holes there for bullets to come out. You can see just the faintest amount of greens on a few things that still need to be covered. So there's a lot of detail work that can go in, like his grenade there. You can see a little bit of green on still, and like there's just these little tiny little details that really matter. And I made his eyes red so you can just see the faintest red underneath the cap of like his blood stained eyes. So the detail work you can do for these dudes is crazy if you've got the time and patience and the brushes for it, right? Like, you gotta have, I got a set of, I think 5 brushes here. 1, 2, 3, 4 brushes. Yeah, 4 brushes, and that's not even that's just like basic stuff. I know there's people with dozens of different paints and brushes and all sorts of different things to make these techniques better. I also saw someone who painted their orcs purple, and the purple looked kind of awesome as like a skin tone. So I might have to make one purple orc. I don't know who that will be yet. But while we're waiting for that, let me grab. We got something else while he's drying. So excited for this. We got... how am I going to do this here? Maybe if I flip the camera. There we go. So we got the Space Marine board game. It is a Target exclusive, I believe, and it comes with 23 aliens and 1 Space Marine. So if I understand the board game correctly, and I haven't opened it yet, so chances are I probably don't understand it correctly, but it's 1 versus 23, so it's 2 players. One player gets to play as one single Space Marine, and the other player gets to control all 23 of the aliens that you're fighting against. So that sounds like crazy fun. I don't know, like, how powerful does the Space Marine have to be that you can fight 23 enemies at once and potentially win. So I'm excited to see how well that comes out. And you get to paint them, I believe. So I don't believe that they come painted. So you get to assemble and paint them. I actually saw another box like this too for Battletech. So it looks like the miniature board games are really starting to become more popular, and we're seeing more and more like a revival of the tabletop RPG, which I'm really excited to see because I love tabletop, like dice rolling game, war games. Like, for the longest time, there are so many kids who say, like, oh, well, I hate board games are boring. But they don't actually hate board games. They hate the board games that your family makes you play, like Monopoly or, I don't know, what else do kids play? Hungry Hungry Hippos and, like, Life or Sorry. And, like, those are all board games that are, like, pure luck, right? And so, like, it's not even the same category once you get into real board games that have skill and variance and so many different factors. Like, there's still some luck. Like, in my last game, I rolled 4 criticals in one hit against somebody, and that just completely wrecked their unit. Like, that's fun aspect too, but it can't all be luck. There has to be some skill level too, or else, yeah, it does become boring when it's all based on luck and you have no control over it. You're just rolling dice and hoping for the right number to win. Like at the end of is it Candyland or Chutes and Ladder? There's one game where when you get to the end, you cannot win unless you physically roll the exact amount of spaces you have left. So if you're 2 spaces away from the end, you have to roll a 2. And so you're just saying like, okay, I rolled, I got a 3, nothing, my turn's over. My turn again, I roll, I got a 6, nothing. Like, that's so not fun. And you could literally lose the game through no fault of your own because you just don't roll a 2, right? Like, that's so frustrating. I couldn't even imagine. So I don't think kids actually hate board games. They just hate the zero skill, all luck board games that every adult forces kids to play for some reason. And maybe it's just because I'm a huge board game nerd, but if I had a kid, I would not subject them to Monopoly. Like, I would much rather play Dungeons and Dragons with them or teach them Disney's Villainous or, like, Dice Throne rather than, like, oh, I know, I'm going to teach you how to play Parcheesi. Like, I remember loving Parcheesi because my grandma had it on her computer, but I only loved it because you could play as an alien, and that's a dumb reason to love a game, but there you go. So, alright, this dude should be dry enough for me to lift. Yep. So we'll take one last look at him here. So he started off completely blank. We still got some red in his eyes. I was experimenting with that. I don't necessarily like that. That black on those blades is looking very nice. Those black blades look good. The black on his belly and grenades. The shoes still need some work. But we made some good progress. But I think that's it for me today. I just wanted to kind of play with this and experiment and see if this would even work. And it looks like it will work. So I will probably do another one of these streams in the future, but I probably will try and use my actual camera so you can see a little bit better details, zoom in on this guy a little bit more, and, different lighting situations. So thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for painting with me. Everyone have a blessed night, and we will see you again on Monday or Tuesday probably. Have a good day.